Finally, there's one more Hail Mary here. In order for the IRS to criminally prosecute you for a tax crime, the tax charges have to be presented to a grand jury for approval for indictment before they could proceed with a prosecution. A grand jury has substantial powers to further investigate your issue should they choose to do so. They have the power to compel testimony or the power to examine physical evidence before making a determination whether an indictment should fall or not. Only felonies need to be approved by a grand jury. Misdemeanors do not. But when you're going to be charged with both felonies and misdemeanors, all of those charges will be presented to a grand jury before an indictment will be levied against you. The grand jury's review standard is more likely than not. If they believe it's more likely than not that you committed a tax crime, they will issue an indictment. This is not a hard hurdle for the government to get past. A grand jury is composed between 16 and 23 members and is under the discretion and control of a district court. In all cases, at least 12 jurors must be unanimous to reach an indictment against you. In cases where a grand jury declines not to indict, a no bill or a true bill can be recorded. The work of a grand jury is required by law to proceed in secret. This is of a huge disadvantage to you because you are not allowed to send someone like me to make arguments on your behalf. Only the government's side of the case is going to be heard at this point. Only the grand jurors, the government's attorneys, and a court reporter and government witnesses are allowed to be present during a grand jury proceeding. Grand juries can also be convened and basically carry out the same function as the Criminal Investigation Division and develop their own investigation leading to criminal tax charges on their own. In other words, it's not an administrative investigation, it's a grand jury investigation. A grand jury investigation will be chosen over an administrative investigation when the IRS is informed that an existing non-tax motivated criminal investigation has uncovered evidence of tax crimes and the U.S. Attorney desires to combine all criminal charges, including tax crimes, into one indictment. Other common reasons for the use of a grand jury investigation include the need to investigate quickly and the need to grant use immunity to witnesses. In other words, the witnesses against you that testify against you might obtain immunity as to prosecution themselves as what they say about you. Since grand jury investigations ordinarily always begin with a definite target in mind, your counsel is very wise to get on top of this issue as early as possible, as soon as they find out you're a target of a grand jury investigation. The opportunity to negotiate a plea bargain or to obtain use immunity for you yourself is strongest in the actual grand jury investigation phase. If there are multiple defendants at issue, it's a common defense strategy to turn state's evidence against another defendant in exchange for a plea bargain. In other words, you're a small fish, you want to offer yourself up as a small fish against a big fish and obtain leniency for doing that. The earlier in the process this takes place, the better off you'll be. If there are multiple defendants involved, your counsel needs to be very careful when and if to jump in the pool and start making deals, as someone else may turn state's evidence against you if that takes too long.